Hi friends, today I am quickly filming this video because I have not watched a single VR to it and I want to so bad, but I didn't want to be influenced. So I decided to not watch anyone's VR to this before going in and filming my own and selecting my own. And then when I'm done, I get to go and watch everyone's. So I'm really excited to do that. So it might be a little bit rushed, but it's only because I'm so excited to get to everyone else's. The VR is, in case we can't tell, Show Us Your Backs, which is a VR to Winds of Reflection. We have 10 prompts, some of which I struggled with, but let's get started. Let's get right into it. The first one, which deck back is the most gorgeous in your collection? This was a bit of a struggle for me because I find that there are so many deck backs that are gorgeous. So this particular deck kind of was selected because other decks had already been selected for other prompts. This prompt was the last one on my list, kind of, sort of. So it was like, well, I really love these backs. I do think they're gorgeous. So here we go. And that is the Lilifer Tarot. So I love these backs. And when I picked it up to look at it, after completing my list of everything else, I realized there's quite a theme for me, which we will see going forward. But love the gold stamping, gold foiling, not sure what we're calling that. Love that little accent. There's not too much, there's just the right amount. I love the colors. We're going to learn I love everything in here. I love snakes. I love eyes. I love the Sacred Heart. Look at that gorgeous Sacred Heart. Perfect. Love it. So we've got color. I feel like it's also it's the way that it blends. It's not so in your face. I love it. I love the stars that are not perfectly shaped. We have gold foil moons. Love that. We have clouds. We have people. There's a heart. I would love to get little like freckle tattoos like that. Would love that. That exact size. Perfect. Love it. I think this is a beautiful back. And then of course our fronts. I think it's a very well done deck. I love the art style, the watercolor look. I love the beings, how they're not typical shaped beings. They're like not quite human, but sort of human. Love that, but we're not here to talk about the fronts. We are here to talk about these gorgeous backs. So this one won it for me for sure with the which deck back is the most gorgeous in my collection. That Sacred Heart, I just cannot get enough of it. Next question, number 2. Which one would you turn into a wallpaper or a fabric? I went with the wallpaper side of things, and this question, a couple decks popped up immediately. I thought about I just gave it away. I thought about the Heaven and Earth. I got it out, looked at it, and I was like, nope, there's still one that's better. Then I thought about the Trionfi della Luna illustrated pips with the moon, the maroon kind of color and the moon backs. But the Hellenic Oracle, it won out. This would be a wallpaper for sure. I would put this in my wall right now. You can't see, but my bedroom, well, you probably can see in the rest of my videos, but my walls are brown. I would love to have this design on it. I think it is stunning. It's fantastic. Beautiful. I think there is wallpaper like this that's more of like a black and gray. I love the brown. It's just perfect. Thea, perfection. So I think it even matches the rest of the deck quite well. When we look at the other cards that we have, a lot of them are fairly dark. So it was a perfect match, very simplistic, but not at the same time. I just think it was brilliant, and I would totally have wallpaper like that. And like I said, I'm pretty sure there is wallpaper like that. So question 3, which back feels the most magical or mysterious? This question was a struggle for me. I thought about magical at first, and the decks that came to mind were the Seasons of the Witch, but I think that I was just influenced by the nature of those decks. Not sure if they're actually magical. I mean, it's got the moon and the hands, so I went with something different. I went with the Memento Mori. So when we look at this deck, it is incredibly simple. Very, very simple. We just have a skull and crossbones with kind of like a weathered look to the edges, which I love. I think that is brilliant. Why do I find this is mysterious? I think when you look at the title of this deck, Memento Mori, everything must die or everything dies, something like that. First of all, that's kind of like, what? What is this deck about to tell me? But also the skull and crossbones. Like I feel like they have secrets, they have messages. You don't know what those are about to be. And with the weathering of the cards, it feels like it just has that knowledge. Like it's been used and abused and it's given answers. So I kind of feel like this deck is the mysterious vibe, and it's really interesting because none of the cards are black, but of course the backs are. And sometimes I get really frustrated with decks that do that because I feel like it doesn't match, but it works with this deck. It was a brilliant choice. Now I edged mine. I really struggled with what to edge it with. These were like white backs, which I didn't feel matched the rest of the deck. So I didn't want to do black because I felt like it would bleed. So I just did a beigey kind of brown color, and I think it worked out so well. But yeah, I think the Memento Mori has mysterious backs. Question 4. What deck back would you print on a journal or a tote bag? This is another one that a couple decks popped into my mind, but ultimately I'm going with the Ritual Tarot. These backs are one of my favorite. I can say that for everything. I gotta stop saying that because I will say it for every deck. My edging rubs off on my fingers, in case you missed my prior videos. These backs, they were what drew me to this deck. So I saw the backs first and I was like, this is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Again, it could be quite simple. It could be quite basic, but I don't think so. I just love them. And when you think about putting it on a tote, or what was the other thing? A journal. I could have a whole journal just like this. Beautiful. But when you think about putting it on a tote, imagine the gold. I had the word, just lost it. Embroider. Imagine a gold embroidery of that on a tote, on a sweater even. I would wear that. I would wear the heck out of this. So that's the deck I chose. I've edged mine in black. I think it was a perfect selection for the back of this deck. I think it's technically a second edition, but I don't think she changed the backs at all for the second edition. It was after the second edition that the backs got changed. So I love these, obviously. Which one gives you instant calm just by looking at it? So again, I had a choice of 2 for this one. The first one was the Saint Soleil Beginner's Tarot, which is like a pinky beige color with gold accents. But ultimately, I decided to go with the Divine Feminine. Even the inside, it's just so nice. It's so pretty. There is a version, or there was, I think this is out of print now, friends. Sorry about that. But there was a version of this deck where it was black, gray, and white. Also very pretty. The image in the middle, it might be so dark, I don't know if you can see it. It kind of takes away from it, I think, in my opinion. I almost wish they would have just left it at this brown, like lava, gold, flowing gold. I don't know. It is soothing. It reminds me of Tiger's Eye, which I think is also why I really like it. Tiger's Eye isn't necessarily a calming crystal, but I mean, maybe it's similar to the Hellenic, like maybe browns are calming for me. And then we have, I don't know that they match per se. It's more yellow in the card. But close enough. But yeah, I think this is a very soothing back. It's not confrontational. It's not in your face. It's just a nice, soothing, like flowing warmth. There we go. That works. Oh, here's the image on the back of the cards. That's so much better to see. Which deck back looks like it could be a portal to another world? Again, I had a couple options for this, but ultimately I stuck with the Dark Mansion Tarot. So you had a selection of backs to choose from when purchasing this deck. And once I saw these backs, I was like, sold. So there were, it was a brown version and this version. I love these backs. Again, there's a moon, there's stars, there is a theme, but just the way the clouds have been drawn, it's, come on, that's a portal. And I know that this is a very obvious choice for this prompt, but I do love these backs. They're one of my favorites, as is everything on this list, but it was just too perfect. Does it match the deck? I don't think so, because it's not like it's sky anything. There's nothing sky happening here. But I love these backs, and they absolutely look like a portal. It looks like you are shooting up through this vortex of clouds into both the sun and the moons. The sun is super cute as well. I love the little tiny detail in it. Love it. Stars, also love. Clouds, suns. Not the first time I've said it in this video. So yes, an obvious choice, but sometimes you do have to go with what's most obvious. So that was question 6. Question 7. If you had to gift someone a deck based only on the back, which would it be? This is a tough question because that could be different depending on who you're giving the deck to. So I do have a couple options. I am cheating, but only because my first choice, the Tarot del Fuego, I would only give this to a select few people based on the back. And remember how I told you we would see a theme? Well, here's our theme. We have another Sacred Heart. And eyes. Of course, we have the eyes. We have a shooting meteor. We have stars. We have the sun. And we have what I believe to be the moon down here. Perhaps a planet over here. Raindrops. Listen, maybe I'm predictable, but this could maybe be a little much for some people, these backs. I do love them. Even the deck can be probably a little much for some people. Some of it is pretty scary, kind of scary. Some of it is just straight up bizarre. So this wouldn't be an everyone deck. Now, I know we are talking only about the backs, but I do think that some people looking at this, it might be a little much. So for other people that I think that would be a little much for, I decided to go with Desert Illuminations, which also has eyes. And we have that kind of like Mexican style blanket look. I think this is pretty harmless, but still fun. It has the eyes, but they're a little more innocent looking. The deck itself, again, we're not talking about the deck itself, but I do think that some people might struggle with the aliens. Maybe some people aren't alien people, but I don't mind. I feel like they'd get over it. But yeah, I feel like these are pretty safe backs to be gifting based on the back alone. So I kind of cheated there, but I feel like that's a hard question to answer because it depends on who you're giving the deck to. Question number 8, which back design surprised you the most in a good way? So here, I haven't used this one in a hot minute. Well, not like religiously. We have, if I can get it open, my travel size Sasrabito. The Traveler, I think it's called. Travel, because it's not like a mini. I mean, it's small, but it's not as mini. The cardstock is lovely. It feels like it's going to bend, but it doesn't. It's very surprising in that way, in the cardstock way. The backs, though, are what we're talking about here. I love these backs. I love a death moth, and kind of didn't really realize that I loved a death moth until seeing these backs. I also love the color choice, how it's kind of sort of black. I think I think it's black. And then it has this inner dark maroon color. So fantastic. Then we've got some bones and our 2 death moths and some petals, and kind of looks a little eclipsey, not sure, but it's just fantastic. Do I think it fits the deck? Yes and no. Like the death moth thing, I don't know that there are any death moths in the actual deck. Not that there has to be. But there are bones. See, that kind of looks similar. But yeah, these were a great surprise. I do love these deck backs. I love the color. I love the death moth. Even the bones don't feel too scary like a lot of bones could be. Beautiful. Stunning. So that one surprised me the most in a good way. Question number 9, which one feels like you? Oh, this was a struggle too. In case you can't tell, I struggled with like everything. But once I got to this one, I was like, that's it. The Reclaim Oracle. It kind of surprised me that I would choose this, but that's also kind of why I chose it. I have an aversion to pink, but I continuously buy pink things. I'm not a pink girly, but I buy lots of pink. I can't explain it. I don't know. So I love the black and light pink colorway we have. In fact, I'm just putting this together now. I have like a vision for a crystal display for some of my crystals where it's black and pink. Perfect. But we have hands, we have moons, we have eyes yet again. We have stars that aren't quite asymmetrical stars. Perfect. Like, it totally feels like me. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And it's kind of like the Lillifer Tarot again, where we have these beings that are kind of human, but not really. Not really. They're not typical human shapes, very similar to the Lillifer Tarot. So yeah, once I got to this deck, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the one that feels like me. The other ones, again, based on the back alone, there were a few other ones that came to mind. The Moonology Oracle deck was another one because I love the moon. The Craft and Decadence one has kind of like a dark academia feel with a jewel on the back. Love crystals. But like I said, once I got to the Reclaim, I was like, that's it. That's the one. Question 10. Which deck back deserves more love and attention? This was so difficult because I don't feel like I have a lot of decks that don't get a lot of attention. I feel like the decks that I have already got a lot of attention, which is probably why I have them, because I saw them on someone's YouTube channel and I was like, I should get that. I like that. So I'm going to do a cop out here. This I know you're probably so sick of seeing it, but it's really the only one that can come to mind. And it's the Ancient Greek Tarot deck. So the backs of this one, again, we have a light pink, which probably won't even come across on camera, and blue, different shades of blue. And I love it. It's so pretty. Also, huge fan of Medusa. Huge fan. We have everything represented, all the suits represented, the pentacles, the cups, the swords, and the wands are the olive sprig. The borders are pretty and well done. I just love it. I love her face with the whites of the eyes. Brilliant. This little design up here, love it. But the whole reason this deck is here is because I think the whole deck needs more attention. And I honestly, I could not come up with a single deck back in my collection that has not already received a lot of attention. And I don't see this deck around a lot. So that's why it's here. That's why it's in this video. If you're new here, if you have not seen my videos in the last, well, since March, where I think I've talked about this deck in almost every single one, I can give you a sneak peek. Be warned, it contains nudity. So if you want to bow out, that's cool. So it's obviously a Greek theme deck. It is very inclusive, very LGBTQ plus friendly. Love it, here for it. I love the stories that were chosen for the tarot cards. I love the gods and goddesses that were chosen for the tarot cards. I love the card stock. It is a thick one, but hopefully I'll be, with the amount I've been using it, I feel like I should be breaking it in. But fantastic deck. Love it. Again, anything with Medusa, I'm going to say I love it. So there we have that. But yeah, this whole deck I just don't feel like has received a lot of attention, period. And that's why it's here. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, and I know I talk about it all the time, but sorry, not sorry. Anyway, that is my Show Us Your Deck Backs VR to Winds of Reflection. Now I get to go watch everyone else's. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.